Good morning. Hand today is going to be Ace 5 of Hearts. We are short-handed again, 5-handed, 10 NL game. We're in the cutoff. Folds to us, we open raise, and big blind call. So start with us. Cutoff, raise first in stat, but again, we're short-handed, so we're not really going to be playing this wide. I think it's probably better. I'm closer to be thinking something along the lines of that. Maybe not even all of the offsuit. That's 25%. I think that's probably close. Yeah, I think we'll take it. So then cutoff calls. 12 hands on him, 8% VPIP. We've got called two bet from bonds with Queen Jack and Jack 10 suited. So we know we've got Broadway in there. And I'm just going to do a generic range. This is, basically Broadways, suited aces, pocket pairs. I took out some of the offsuit Broadways. Might not play it, but it's a starting point in any case. But this is 17% shorthanded game. Players might play a little bit tighter, especially since this is a full ring game. It's just we're missing quite a few players. So we're going to go with that. Flop comes out 10-3-2, so we flop the hearts, heart flush along with the gut shot straight flush draw. Not too bad. Unfortunately, though, once we have a board like this in our hand, we kind of we take the flushes out. I mean, we've got the nut flush. So really, we're just hoping the villain connected in some way or doesn't believe us. Maybe they have the king of hearts, and we can get paid off. Maybe they have, like an ace 10 or a king 10 or a queen 10 that decides to play with the top pair. Those are the types of hands that we're looking at. So villain checks us. We do have a note that he does donk pair with top pair or better. But I don't think this is necessarily a board where I think we would see a donk bet. So on this board, or on this range, our range is a little bit bigger. I think we would still bet. I'd probably not bet all of them. I think we've got some. I guess what we should probably do is just go with, what kind of draws do we have? So I think nut, second nut flush draw, we're probably betting. Third nut, maybe not. Don't think we're really going to be betting gut shots or anything. And that's at 10%. That means we're not going to have massive amount of value here that we could bet. I think maybe we could bluff with bottom pair or middle pair. But you can see that's only 13%. We would have to really find some hands to continue with. So maybe third nut, with the queen, that gets us to 17. So 18, so we would need like 9% value. And when you look at 9% value, I mean, geez, just take out, basically flush and sets, and that's it. I'm not sure about this. I think we should be betting, but maybe we're not. Maybe we are withholding some of our flush draws here. Some of our nut flush draws. Maybe some of these. Or maybe in the middle. I think we're betting with all of the weaker flush draws. I think that's probably what we're going to target. I mean, we take some of those, and still we're only down to 6%. Or maybe we just say heck with it. We bet our flushes, and we basically bet everything that we have. We bet our set, we bet our over pair, we bet our top pair, and then we bet everything else just as a bluff, something like that. Maybe that's what we're gonna do. We'll run GTO and we'll check it out. But let's do this. Let's say we just go ahead and fire 100% here. We're in position against a button caller that's probably going to be tight and who's probably going to miss all of this. I think maybe that's it. I mean, when you look at his range here, he's got a lot of hands that just completely miss. So we bet here. Villain calls. We'll leave the flush. I think sometimes he's not going to check raise the flush. He'll call with the set. He'll call with the top pair. Pocket pair below the top card. I think he's just going to probably fold those, and we could scale those. No, I think we're just going to fold those. Nut flush, second nut flush draw. Third nut's probably calling. Probably something like that. So 37%, which means he's folding 60%. Yeah, so we're probably c betting 100% and just taking that auto profit. All right, so we bet half pot. If we bet, how much should we be betting? I guess if we're going, 100% c bet, maybe we go a little bit larger because we're looking to get more folds. So half pot, maybe 2/3. We'll see. Half pot's probably okay. We get called, which is a pretty good thing. So 9 of diamonds comes out. Doesn't really affect us much. I think now once we bet and we get called, now we're gonna have to be restricting our bets. So I think here with our top pair, we're probably not going to be betting all of our top pair hands. Maybe like ace 10, king 10. That's 45%. That's a lot, actually. Hold on, well, I've got all of those. So, yeah, that's about better. So, 29% with top pair plus. I think we continue with like the nut flush, second nut flush draw. And of course, some of those are going to be like a top pair type hand, like king 10 is in there. Maybe even a third nut. However, that's going to be, you're starting to get a little bit weaker on that. And I don't really like betting the open ender or the gut shot because there's a flush on the board. I think we've got some reverse implied odds happening. And then maybe like a weak pair just to kind of balance. Ace 2, ace 3. Definitely can't be betting all of those. Maybe something like that. So we go from like 100% down to like 46%. That's probably a better one. We bet half pot. I think we can go a little bit larger. We already got called once. And if villain does have like a king of hearts, we want him. We think he's going to continue. So betting, sizing up seems like the right thing to do. And he does call. So I think here top pair plus, again, nut flush, second nut flush. We'll leave the third nut, although I think what we'll do is kind of scale this down and say sometimes he's probably going to fold that. Yes, we'll raise this up. We'll say it's 75% chance that he would actually fold that. So he's calling most of the time, and that might be why we go larger, because we figure he's going to be calling most of the time. But if he's going to be doing that, then it does kind of make sense. It doesn't really make sense to have a bunch of these bluff hands in here. He's going to be calling. He's going to have some draws. He's going to have a lot of value here, and I think we could kind of key it in. Move this back to 75. Yeah, so when he calls, just 29% is draw. So maybe that's about right. Maybe that's about right. All right, so we see the river of 2 diamonds comes out. Villain bets, which is strange. Oftentimes bets are laid out to kind of freeze bets, and in this case it's a pot size bet, so I don't normally see a pot size bet to like freeze the bets. If this guy wants to see a showdown, most of the time, on a pot like this, let's say 30, he's going to be betting 10, maybe 15. because he doesn't want to have to call a pot size bet. That's what, generally indicates some sort of weakness. This pot size bet kind of is concerning because it's, what is he doing that with? Is he going to be doing that with quads? I kind of feel like no, not with quads, because quads could have just easily check raised. And I kind of feel like the same thing with the full house. It's like, why would you bet this? Why wouldn't you just check raised it, check raise all in, check let me bet, and then go for it, check raise. I feel like if they're gonna lead and they want to get called, they're gonna be betting a little bit smaller here, looking to get called. Flush, on the other hand, might be something where he leads because he doesn't think he's looking for a little bit of value, maybe. This is just odd, or this is a bluff. Could be 100% bluff here, betting to represent he's got a set or a full house at this point. My thought is, does he have a 2? I'd say no, unless he has pocket 2s and just improved to quads. That would be the only thing. I don't think he's calling with like an ace 2, king 2. I just don't see him calling down. I don't have king 2 in his range. So the question really is, should we be raising or should we just be calling? And in this in this situation, I just called because I was kind of at a loss. I'm not really sure what he was going to be doing this with, especially betting that large. It's really polarizing with that size. It's either you've got a massive hand, and I'd probably say quads full house, or you've got something that's just like ace high or nothing. So let's do this. Let's do ace high or nothing. I don't think top pair is going to be making that play. Probably not a good 2 pair. Probably not an over pair. It's the flush. Would he do it with the flush? Well, we know he doesn't have the aces because we blocked that ace. We have the ace 5. Could he do that with like a king or a queen? I'd still say maybe no. I mean, it's starting to get balanced a bit more if you do king and queen. Maybe something like that if he's playing like it closer to a GTO. And we beat. I mean, the only hands we don't beat are the quads and full houses. Now, if we raise, so we do that. If we raise, he's never going to call those with those hands, and he's going to be calling with the rest of these. So if he gets rid of those, now you're looking at basically, if he's calling, he's got a full house. So I don't really think we're going to be raising here now with our hand, and that's why I called. And he shows Jack 10, so he had didn't even have the flush, just had top pair, which is strange. So I say let's kind of run this through GTO. Take our note here. So he called the 3 big blind. Actually, all right. So let us bring over GTO. So I ran this already. And we're looking at bet sizing. So flop bet sizing looks like we are going smaller on the smaller side. So this is gave him 66%, 50%, 33%. GTO is recommending the smaller bet size. We're only betting 34%, so we're not going to go up for that high amount. And that was kind of what we were looking at initially, which was we don't really have a whole lot of draws. So if we don't have a whole lot of draws, how do we come up with a lot of value to, how do we bet all of the values that hands that we possibly have? So we are betting flush draws, but we're betting basically our nut flush draw here, or our nut flush, and looks like our kings and sometimes our queens. So instead of betting all of our flushes, we're just really taking the nut part of it. So we're betting smaller side. We're betting our sets. And then that's about it. Our over pairs are checks. Most of our top pairs are checks. And then that means that we're basically using the nut flush draw minus the aces. So the aces end up being a check. We're using our nut flush draw for balance and a little bit of our kings. We're really not. Oh, it looks like we have gut shots as well. So ace 5, ace 4. That's interesting. I would not have planned for this. Since the flush is on the board, but GTO is recommending that. All right, so let's say we bet he calls. Actually, let's go for the half pot, because that's what we did, and we had a small amount. So 9 of diamonds comes out. Villain's checking here, and then we're betting. So we bet small amount. Now we're going to be betting even more. So we still have, we're betting our flush, our sets. Our two pairs are going to be checks, looks like. Over pairs are mostly, they're mostly bets minus some of our aces, our flushes. For betting most of the stuff. Okay. Let's say, hold on, we bet 2 diamonds calls, and then he leads. All right, so let's go ahead and modify this. So it looks like our bet sizing initially was off. Let's see what happens when we change it up. We've already made our tree. Let's go ahead, change this up. Oops, hold on. Let's go to the flop. So let's try to get this. So we are basically betting our flush draws. We are not betting these. So we're betting our ace and our king flush. We're betting our sets. We're not betting our overpair. We're not betting. I don't think we're betting our top pair. Not really. We've got some top pair. Maybe the aces. Like ace 10. Maybe king 10. 15. That gets us to 45. No, so that's about right. That's about right. Okay, so then we're betting our nut flush draw here. Let's go to this. We're betting our gut shots too. And what other? We got some of our weak pairs. Yeah, we got some. I mean, it's closer to a mixed, more of a mixed strategy. Let's do this. Let's do our nut, second, third nut. And we'll throw those in. All right, so we'll do that. That's going to be our flop range. Oops, hold on. I didn't do that. That's better. All right. So then on this guy, we're gonna keep what we had what we had already marked here, and there we go. Now let's build our tree. We're gonna import the tree, and we are going to edit it. So we are looking at our turn decision. Oops, hold on. We got to build the tree. Let's go back to the flop. Nope, the turn 12.9. We'll go 13, and effective stack is 53 now. Let's build our tree. All right, so now what we are doing is just kind of a simple game. We're going check, check, gets us to the turn. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set up a check here. And then we've got a 50%, we've got a 66%. Yes, a 33%. Maybe do a 100% pot. I don't think we're going to be doing 100% because that's going to be 12 into effective pot size of 52. Well, 12, that leaves 40. Yeah, that would be like a pot size bet then on the river. Let's accept the changes. We'll run this and we'll be right back. All right, ran quickly. So we go check, check. 9 of diamonds comes out. He checks to us. And then, yeah, it kind of is. So pot, 50%, a third, that's 66%. So of these choices, definitely 66 is not looking good. Pot size actually looks pretty good. And I think that's what I should have kind of recognized. We bet pot. So 13, 13. We could just say 12. We'll do 13. That's easy. 13, 13. 13 in the pot. That's going to get us to, what, 39? He's going to have a pot. He's going to have a stack size of 40. So we bet pot here. We've got an easy pot bet on the river. We get them all in with our nut flush. That's actually probably preferred. And that's probably something that we should have done. On our range, we are checking 70% of the time. So we're betting, 30%. We do have some checks associated with our hands. Sets, over pairs, top pairs. We're really just kind of slowing down. We're still betting our flush, but we're slowing down, and that means we're kind of just going with some overcards, which I bet are the nut flush draws. That's what we're using. So if he calls, and then he's betting 40. So if he leads into us, then we're basically calling with a full house and sometimes calling with a flush. And this is what we were looking at. What do we do if he does something like that? So we bet that. He calls. We're still calling with the flush. Doesn't really have us calling with a raise because that's less than a pot. Let's go smaller. Well, yeah, because we don't have ace-5 in our range. So it does look like we're kind of answering our question here on the river. He bet pot. Should we raise or should we just call? And it looks like basically the checks that I'm running, different bet sizing here. We bet, he calls, all of a sudden he leads into us, and he's leading a sizable amount. It's looking like a full house gets raised, but the flush draw does not. So it looks like our river decision was pretty good. So I think we're going to wrap this up. Bet sizing. Looks like GTO is recommending smaller bet sizing on the flop, just across the board, and doesn't look like GTO is recommending a whole lot of bets. It's not recommending a whole lot of bets at this point. Yep, betting smaller. We're only betting about 35% of the time, and not really betting 100%. So that's kind of a mistake on my part. But then on the river, I think the river decision was the important one. What do we do? Do we raise? Do we go for that last bit, or do we just call? And with our hand, it looks like GTOs is just saying, yeah, with your flush draws, just call, because there's going to be a higher likelihood that if we raise, we're only getting called by a flush. And I think that's going to be, or we're only getting called by the full house. And I think that's going to be the key. So hopefully you enjoy this hand. If you do, look tomorrow for another.